week, after months of disappearing, both the Tuah girl and Cody Ko are back, but it's not going well for them. Also this week, rivers are mysteriously turning blood red. Donald Trump has signed an executive order to get rid of paper straws. We got the first footage ever of a black sea devil in daylight. And I might be meeting Elon Musk and Donald Trump next week. You want to know how? Well, all of that and so much more. I hope you guys subscribe because it was my birthday yesterday. And if you forgot, it's not too late. You can still subscribe as a birthday present to me. So, let's stop the yapping and let's get cracking! Come on! Okay, let's start with this one because two people essentially ghosted the internet after they got into major controversy. Cody Ko, who hasn't posted since July, so about 6 months, and Hailey Welch, the Tuah girl, who has been gone since the beginning of December, and actually, technically, still hasn't posted. The podcast, which she intended to post, actually got leaked online, like the full 40-minute thing. Ad integration and all.
Alright, you guys, I only got one sponsor left because there's some real ones and they've stuck with me since every bit of this started. Game Time believes in me, y'all, and I believe in them.
Game Time's more loyal than most of y'all's mans out here.
Yeah, it looks like she actually put an ad integration in the video where she was addressing the allegations of scamming her fans. What the flip? That's wild. Now, Cody, as you've probably heard, ghosted after another YouTuber, Tana. She alleged that he had sexual relations with her when she was just 17 and he was 25.
I hooked up with Cody Ko when I was 17 and he was 25.
Now, given the age of consent in Florida, where this incident allegedly occurred, is 18, her claim implies potential statutory rape. Now, he never addressed the situation. He kind of just disappeared. And in his 2 videos since he's been back, which he posted on his side channel, he's kind of just doing Mr. Beast and just carrying on as normal and just hope they just forget. And you know what? The comment section on his videos weren't that bad. You know, we've got things like, this feels like an ex just texted me. The way I did a double take when I saw this in my sub box. Bro had to wait for the new administration. Mixed emotions on his return. I'm gonna watch this and drink my hot chocolate, but will feel morally compromised while doing it. Now, not so bad on YouTube. Twitter, however, of course, not so forgiving. Cody Ko coming back to YouTube like nothing happened and his comment section eating it up is the exact reason many women who have been abused and assaulted don't come forward. Let me get this straight. Cody Ko gets exposed as a legitimate statutory rapist, drops off the face of the planet, and then a few months later just comes back with his bullshit. At YouTube, what the actual beep are you doing? So, bit of a mix. And honestly, actually, I don't know why they chose to come, like two people that disappeared for so long chose to come back almost on the same day. I mean, maybe they thought, you know, while Trump is cooking up new wild storms every day and Ye has gone off the rails, maybe no one would notice. Don't think that's been working too well for either. Because, let's move on to Hailey, because this situation, wild. And for those of you who aren't like, sit down for 40 minutes, listen to the whole goddamn podcast, kind of invested, let me just run through it for you quick. So for starters, you know, despite this being Hailey's podcast and her first time to get a chance to address this situation and all the people that had bought into the coin, her fans, well, for the about 40 minutes, she speaks for 5. I think that might be literal. I think it might be actually 5 minutes in total. And like half of that was a goddamn ad.
Alright, you guys, I only got one sponsor left because there's some real ones and they've stuck with me.
That was, honestly, that's really, really poor choice to put an ad in that. Anyway, her guest, FaZe Banks, and his crypto nerds, as he referred to them as, pretty much dominated the whole episode and spoke about all of the ins and outs of crypto. They kind of created the narrative of, you know, like, crypto's not that bad, it's getting a bad rep because of things like this, etc. And, you know, the reason they dominated the whole thing, and, you know, Hailey admits this herself, she doesn't know about crypto.
Well, so basically how this idea got brought to me, it was supposed to be like a, what do they call it, a long-term coin. And the guy that ran the account, he was like, oh, we're going to change like the way everybody thinks of crypto. Crypto is going to be a good place.
Which, you guessed it, kind of the whole reason she and everyone else is in this situation in the first place. Now, as for what you would be expecting, an apology, well, you know, there were moments where, you know, she starts crying and she says, you know, she's still shook up from the whole situation and that she feels bad for everyone who lost money.
And I feel really bad for all the people that got affected by it. And
don't cry, Hailey. It's fine. It's all going to be okay. Life is going to be okay. Oh, Hailey, no.
Oh, don't do that. Don't stare at me.
No.
And also, while she did acknowledge that, she should have researched more, done her due diligence before accepting the promotion of a crypto, there was never really a direct apology to all of those people who lost money. So, don't watch the full thing expecting that. Oh, actually, there is this... There is this one part. This is so bizarre. I can't believe this. At one point, she says, all of the money that I make from this episode, I will be donating to all of the animals that have been affected by the LA fires.
It just didn't go the way I planned. And all the money out of this episode is getting donated to all the animals that have been affected by the fires up here.
And I'll match it.
I'm sorry, but where did the animals come from? Imagine you're someone that has lost a bunch of money and you're watching this, and then you hear the animals are getting money. Also, one of the craziest parts of this whole situation to me was that the unknown developer for this coin controls 80%. 80%. And neither Hailey Welch, her lawyer, or anyone in their team have actually met this person. And he controls 80% of this whole thing.
80% of the supply is still in control. The dev still controls 80%.
And who are they?
I do not know who the dev is. That was never disclosed to us. All I know is it's a gentleman that's...
So see, the problem with the developing side of like projects like these and products like these is they can do whatever they want, right? Like,
yet they went ahead with this project anyway. She said that this unknown developer was a friend of a friend. And that you could trust them. And then she also said that was her biggest regret. But somehow, considering all of this, it gets even crazier. Because this actual episode was supposed to be one of a 2-part series. And in the second one, they said they would go into more detail discussing potential resolutions for investors. According to FaZe Bank's own tweet, this episode was never meant to go public until a resolution was found. Once a resolution was found, they'd go live. But when they started to see an unusual spike in the Tuah coin's value, and people started messaging him asking if this podcast has been recorded and posted, they realized that someone from that team, inside Hailey Welch's team, leaked it. FaZe then addresses Hailey personally, and he says, you need to fire your entire team because they are useless, they are taking advantage of you, and no wonder she's got herself into this situation in the first place. Man, that's pretty crazy. I know that she hired a team and then moved out to LA, but damn, people that you surround yourself with, important. And also, I feel like, for me personally, this is a testament to what happens when you try and cut corners, Saying that's always stuck with me. Fast money creates slow problems. I understand that she's trying to capitalize on, this crazy fame and this opportunity that she's been given. But, this is what happens when you skip out on the patience and just the slow daily grind. It'll happen one day. So I guess, neither Hailey Welch or Cody Ko has given closure on all of their controversy. But what do you guys think? Let me know, but we gotta move on. Okay, I have to ask the question because what are the chances of two rivers 2,000 miles apart mysteriously turning blood red at the same time? And we don't know the cause for either. This week, worried residents in both Lima, Peru, and Buenos Aires, Argentina, have shared footage of these rivers online, reporting strong odors accompanying this discoloration. One local described the scene saying, it looks like a stream of blood. We have never seen it like this. Now, while we don't know for sure what's caused either, I wouldn't go as far, as saying it was a scene from a biblical prophecy. I'll just, leave that there. Rather, in Peru, environmental experts believe that it could be caused by pollutants discharged from local mines and drainage pipes flowing into the river. And despite this, going into the river, local water supplier Sedipal has come out and assured the public that the water is still safe to drink. And they better be right, because this river in particular is one of the country's most important water sources. And then for the potential cause for the one in Argentina, authorities suspect the presence of alanine, which is a toxic substance used in dyes, and they believe that it could have been dumped in there by local companies. So yeah, never usually as crazy as one's mind would love to believe it is. But then again, if Jesus did want to come back, it's a pretty bloody good time. Moving on. Okay, the plane that went missing yesterday carrying 10 people has just been found. And It's not good. Now, in what's become the latest in a tragic pattern of 2025 plane disasters, this story is still unfolding. It has just happened, but the details so far are chilling. This was Bering Air Flight 445, a small commuter plane flying to Nome, Alaska. And everything seemed routine. Until it wasn't. It was Thursday evening when air traffic control suddenly lost radar contact with the aircraft around only 12 miles offshore. No distress call, no emergency beacon, just gone. Immediately, search and rescue teams were deployed. The Coast Guard, the FBI, and local authorities all joined the effort, but the conditions were brutal. Blinding snow, 50-mile-per-hour winds, and freezing temperatures. They searched, hours passed, and then a full night, but nothing was found. But then, earlier today, search teams made a discovery. Only 34 miles away from their planned destination in a desolate snow-covered field, the wreckage of Flight 445 was found along with 3 of the passengers. 7 people are still missing. However, they believe that they could be still in the aircraft. However, they're not accessible because of the state and condition of that aircraft. We may never fully know what happened to Flight 445 since there was no distress call. But one thing we do know is 2025 has taken yet another plane. Actually, before I move on, speaking about planes, and good Lord, Jesus, we're talking a lot about Jesus in this one, but Jesus, help me now. Because in the morning, so early, I am getting on a plane, to go to the World Government Summit in Dubai, and then another plane to go to the Global Security Summit in Germany. Sneaky little spoiler, on the third day, Elon Musk is apparently supposed to be in the Dubai one. That'd be crazy. And then, while there's no official confirmation, and this is all just, speculation, I have a sneaky little feeling that Trump might be there in Germany. Now, don't know for sure, but imagine. And I'll be there. I'll be front lines, good access to everything. So, imagine this. If I get 10 seconds with Trump, who knows in what scenario, I need to be locked in with a question to ask him, a rapid fire. So, I get 10 seconds. What am I asking? Put it in the comments. I'll actually use the top one, as long as it's nothing too crazy, okay? We are talking about the most powerful man in the entire world. Anyway, Alex has got a lot of editing to do, so let's move on quick. Speaking about Trump, though, I gotta ask, what alternate reality did we slip into this year? Every day I'm waking up, especially to do with Trump, I'm waking up and I'm seeing headlines that don't seem real. For example, Donald Trump has just announced that he's signing an executive order against paper straws. Bro really said, this executive order is for me. He revealed that next week he'll be reversing Biden's initiative to phase out single-use plastics across the federal government by 2027. And that includes plastic straws, cutlery, cups, etc. Trump called these paper alternatives ridiculous and that they don't work, so it's back to plastic. Now, as you'd imagine, this has got mixed reactions. Some supporters, like Elon Musk, for example, have praised the decision. They're viewing it as a stand against what they perceive as, this unnecessary environmental regulation that is complicating daily life. On the other hand, environmentalists have expressed concern, emphasizing that these single-use plastics significantly contribute to pollution and they harm marine life. And before I ask you your thoughts, while I'm on the topic of Trump, a couple other things he's done this week. He signed an executive order to ban transgender women from competing in women's sports, and it was literally titled Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports. And then today, he's revoked Joe Biden's security clearance from accessing daily intelligence briefings. Now, the reason he gave was because Joe did the same to him back in 2021, and so I guess that's payback. And that, quote, the Her report revealed that Biden suffers from poor memory and that even in his prime, he could not be trusted with sensitive information. He concluded this by saying, Joe, you're fired. I told you. We're in a different reality. But moving on. Okay, here's something you can tell your teacher tomorrow in class. According to the first study in the world of its kind, banning mobile phones in schools does not improve kids' grades or behavior as intended. They're gonna hate this one. Now, the study was the first in the world to look at 1,227 students across 30 schools, some of which had strict phone bans, while others, you could doom scroll TikTok in lunch. And guess what? No difference in mental health, no difference in academic performance, no difference in their sleep, exercise, or classroom behavior. So, you might be wondering, What the hell did it do? Well, kids in those stricter schools, they did spend less time on their phones, but, and key point here, only in school hours. And the fact that it didn't lower overall screen time suggests that those kids were just making up for lost time once they got out of school, which that isn't ideal. You want them to be at least doing something outside. However, now, before you think that this is going to be your golden ticket to getting your phone back in class, probably not, because the study's lead author said that the results show us that we need to do more than just ban phones in school. And one thing that the study did find was that the kids who used their phone more suffered from all of those things that it made no difference on with the difference. They suffered from all of those problems worse. So at least we know excessive phone use, not good. But phones in school kind of doesn't matter. At least that's what science says. I look forward to a lot of angry messages from teachers tomorrow. Moving on. Also this week, woo, it's a long one today. The UK government has just demanded secret backdoor access into Apple's users' data. Not a joke. And if allowed, it could set a concerning precedent globally. You see, Apple has a feature on iCloud called Advanced Data Protection, and all content stored in this way is end-to-end encrypted, meaning no one, apart from the user, of course, can see it, not even Apple. The UK government, like US agencies before them, well, they don't like this. They argued that Apple's encryption prevents law enforcement from accessing critical evidence to combat terrorism, child exploitation, and other serious crimes. And you know, in those cases, those are valid arguments. And so now they are reportedly ordering Apple under the Investigatory Powers Act of 2016 to create a backdoor into their encrypted iCloud backups, essentially granting British officials access to not just users' data in the UK, but globally. And one step further, Apple would also not be permitted to alert users that their encryption was compromised. So you wouldn't even know, even if this has been happening. Also, and then even one step further after that, technically under this Investigatory Powers Act, it is a criminal offense for Apple to even reveal that this demand has been made. So Apple now faces a pretty crucial decision: comply and compromise their global security standards, or refuse and risk being forced to pull out key services from the United Kingdom. Oh, and let's not forget, if they do comply, other countries like China or America, well, they could see this as an opportunity to demand the same right. And then, slippery slope. So, what do you guys think? Should they be allowed access or not? But, moving on. Okay, this next one is, truly insane when I read this week. Just listen to the headline. Despite 20 knife wounds and 11 bruises, Ellen's death was ruled a suicide. But now, 14 years later, officials are finally changing their minds. You see, this case was a bizarre one from day one. In 2011, 27-year-old schoolteacher Ellen Greenberg was found dead in her apartment. Multiple stab wounds, a knife still in her chest, and yet authorities ruled it a suicide. Her parents never believed it. For years, they've been asking questions like, how can someone stab themselves 20 times? How did someone with that many bruises, apparently days old, kill themselves? And why did police rush to rule it a suicide before the crime scene unit even arrived? Ellen's fiance, Sam Goldberg, he claimed that he was locked out of their apartment and had to force the door open. He called 911, telling the operator she stabbed herself before adding she fell on a knife. But it gets worse. The medical examiner initially ruled it a homicide, but then later changed it to suicide. The apartment was professionally cleaned before forensics could properly investigate. The supposed locked door claim? Well, the building manager later said that it could have shut on its own. And now a forensic expert suggests that Ellen may have already been dead before some of these stab wounds were inflicted. Ellen's parents never stopped fighting. They filed lawsuits, launched private investigations. They started a petition that got over 166,000 signatures. But after all of that, this week, the biggest bombshell yet. Dr. Marlon Osborne, the very pathologist who ruled it a suicide, well, he just changed his mind. He now says that new evidence made him question everything. The city has now reopened the case, and while officials did not admit liability, they've announced that the Greenbergs have reached a settlement and will receive a monetary payment. And this latest development could open the door to what her family has been wanting all along: a criminal investigation. So, what do you guys think? You know, is this just simply a tragic mistake or something darker? Let me know. Moving on. Okay, and I've saved one of my personal favorite to last. What you are seeing is believed to be the first ever footage captured of an alive sea devil near the surface during daylight. First ever. Pretty cool. My boy was spotted on the 26th of January, just 2 kilometers off of Tenerife. And because these fish, usually live as deep as 2,000 meters under the surface, where it's completely pitch black, until now, only larvae or dead specimens have been seen in daylight this close, and of course, caught on footage. So, just think about it in terms of my boy. I don't know what kind of revolutionary, mind-blowing experience he must be having. What are all these colors? Light? They lied to me down there? It's a whole new world. But unfortunately, he will not be swimming back down there and telling his friends how to escape the Matrix because he's dead. He later died after being caught. He's dead. Okay, let me round this video out with some goodbye whippings, and actually, I still have this. I have tried to give this away, not once, but twice. Both of the people that won this have not replied to when I said, let me get into contact, where do I send this? And I tried to hold off as long as possible because, honestly, you'd be pretty pissed. You'd be pretty pissed, wouldn't you? But it's taken so long. So, point is, the whole Pixel Me Daddy, if you want this phone, all you need to do, comment down below, Pixel Me Daddy, and key point, your Instagram. Give me your Instagram so that I have somewhere to message you on, okay? Otherwise, I'll never be able to reach out to you. You'll never be able to get this phone. Randomly selected in the next video. Someone take it. It's Today's 3 sacrificial lambs that always do such a good job of reminding us all, subscribe or become fish food. I don't know. I was just talking about fish, so I don't know. All right, put them there, Alex. Put them there. Subscribe to the channel, you little
corn casserole.
Okay, and with that, we conclude the video. I am probably somewhere perusing, eating yum little, those entree things with world leaders right now, talking about, Illuminati stuff, how to conquer the world, leather couches, cigars. What is another Illuminati stereotype? Nah, but for real, when you're watching this, I'm probably safe on the plane. With that, I bid thee farewell. I love you guys more than you could know, and I'll see you in the next one.